There are stories everywhere, an entire network of narratives in all that we see, say, wear, touch. Even here, right where we sit, there are thousands of stories past and present, in the trees, in the odd collection of books and knickknacks left behind in the browsing rooms, in Seal Court Pond. More versions, variations, and interpretations than you can possibly imagine. Do not be fooled by the relative quiet of the place, by this peaceful campus of pristine lawns. There is a rumbling, an electricity, although it may be just below the surface, which once you have noticed you will be hard-pressed to forget. As much as we may quote her and commend her vision, in truth, Ellen Browning-Scripps probably didn't have the slightest clue what she was getting herself into. I mean, she probably couldn't have even begun to conceive of the stories waiting to unfold here, the struggles and triumphs of the people who would come to occupy this place. And you know, I think that's okay. I think we can appreciate her start, but not let it weigh us down in our endeavor to make this school better reflect us, we who breathe life into it. We are, all of us, wrapped up in our own stories right now, weaving them from the scraps of color and character that make us who we are. And just think of what waves we are capable of making, what extraordinary strokes of color on the white walls all around us. Keeping in mind that our lives are stories that we write with every sip, every conversation, every gesture, I hope we will not be afraid to edit, to pick up a dark pen and revise what we are given. We must try not to have too much respect for the boundaries of what has already been written, but rather be bold, be determined to chisel out the shape of a story that suits us. During my time at Scripps, I have learned a tremendous amount, but I'd be kidding myself if I tried to give an account of it in any kind of linear fashion. I have been a woman, a person, constantly under revision since I stepped into this campus. No clear-cut beginning and end points, which demonstrate my tidy progress from the Denison entrance at matriculation to this spot on Elm Tree Lawn. The extraordinary editing process I have undergone in the past few years is one I am incredibly grateful for. It has shaped me. It continues to. And you know what? It was truly difficult at times. I mean, awful. It shook me by my ankles, emptying my pockets and sending all the blood rushing to my head. I have questioned what I thought I knew. I have wavered back and forth. I have made strides in certain ways and continue to lag in others. Anais Nin once wrote, "We do not grow absolutely, chronologically. We grow sometimes in one dimension and not in another, unevenly. We grow partially. We are relative. We are mature in one realm, childish in another. The past, present, and future mingle and pull us backward, forward, or fix us in the present. We are made up of layers, cells, constellations." So maybe we're being really tough on ourselves, expecting that we have to work with, what we have to work with now is the finished product. But what if there never was one? Just think how radical that would be. What if Scripps, with its historical buildings and all its history, wasn't a finished product either? What if it offered itself up to be molded by those who study here, who instruct, who guide, who clean, who water, who plant, who take care here? Have you ever set out to write, paint, dance, tackle an equation and been paralyzed by that daunting fear of permanency? That worry that what you start will be imperfect? So much so that it keeps you from going on for it at all? But how can we know what we are capable of if we are not willing to create, if we can't keep it utterly clear in our minds that nothing is ever set in stone? That we may question, alter, critique, revise constantly, and it doesn't make us any less invested or any less pleased. Never let anyone tell you that wanting more, wanting to have a say, wanting to have a chance at editing negates your love for a place or a movement, or that it makes you ungrateful. And me, I love Scripps. And I'd love to see a lot of changes, just as I think this country, this world of ours, has so much to offer, but I am not about to let it stay as it is. I would like to see us learn what the word community is really about. I'd like to see us make absolutely sure that our current community members, everyone who takes up space here, are recognized, celebrated, accommodated as they ought to be. Because that's what we're here for, right? To bring in the new, to bring in the change. I'd like so much, very much to send us off that way, to know that the class of 2012 will not be intimidated by what is written, but that we will keep digging deep, deep, deep until we find the juicy stuff, until we make our deliberate and daring mark on the world. Congratulations, class of 2012. Our story is just getting started.